Part 1, the Lightworker Series. The New Earth, Part 1. In this day and age, a transition is taking place on Earth. A new consciousness is dawning which will take material shape sooner or later. How exactly this transition will come about, what form it will take, is not fixed. The future is always indeterminate. The only thing that is really given is this moment, the now. From the well of the now, countless possible roads are springing an infinite web of possible futures. On the basis of the past, we can predict that one particular future is more probable than another, but the choice is always yours. It is you who decides whether you let the past determine your future. Predictions are always based on probabilities. Probabilities are related to the past. It is in your power as a human being to break with the past, to set out a different course. You are endowed with free will. You have the power to change, to recreate yourself. In this power rests your divinity. It is the power to create from nothing, to create ex nihilo. This divine power belongs to the very essence of who you are. In speaking of this day and age as an age of transition, never forget that you are the master of your own reality. There's no such thing as a predestined plan or a cosmic power which overrules your individual soul's path or your individual power to create your own reality. It doesn't work that way. Every soul on earth will experience this transition in a way that fits their inner propensities. There are many realities. The realities you choose will answer your inner needs and desires. What makes this time, 1950 to 2070, approximately special, is that there are two different cycles of consciousness coming to an end. A personal cycle, or a set of personal cycles, and a planetary cycle. The completion of these cycles coincides, so that one reinforces the other. For a part of humanity, the completion of their personal cycle on Earth lives is near. Most of the souls involved in this completion are lightworkers. We will speak in much more detail about this group of lightworker souls. Here we would like to explain the nature of this personal cycle, what it means to go through it, and what is the purpose of living all these quite complicated lives on Earth. The personal karmic cycle. The Earth lives you experience are a part of a greater cycle of your soul. This cycle was designed to enable you to fully experience duality. You have within the cycle experienced what it is like to be male and female, to be healthy and ill, to be rich or poor, to be good and bad. In some lives you were intensely involved with the material world, being a farmer, worker, craftsman. There have been more spiritually oriented lives in which you carried within you a strong awareness of your spiritual origins. In those lives you were often drawn to religious callings. Also there have been lives in which you explored the worldly domain of power, politics, etc. There may have been lives devoted to an artistic expression of yourself. Often souls tend to specialize somewhat in the course of all these lives. This can clearly be recognized in people who possess a natural gift in a certain area. It seems they have potential there, even as a child, which only needs to be awakened at the right time, which is then easily developed. Lightworker souls are often drawn to religious lives and have lived numerous lives as monks, nuns, priests, shamans, witches, psychics, etc. They were drawn to be intermediaries between the material, physical world and the spiritual realm, and so they developed an expertise in this field. When you feel this calling, this strong urge to be involved with spirituality, even if it does not fit in with your normal daily life, you may very well be part of this family of lightworkers. Living on Earth provides you with an opportunity to fully experience what it is like to be a human. Now you may ask, what's so special about being human? Why would I want to experience that? The human experience is both diverse and intense. When you live a human life, you are temporarily immersed within an overwhelming field of physical sensations, thoughts, and feelings. Because of the duality inherent in this field, there is great contrast and intensity in your experience, much greater than when you were in the astral plane, as you call it. These are the planes you enter after you die and where you remain between lives. It may be hard to imagine for you, but many entities on our side would love to be in your shoes. They would love to be human, to gain human experience. The human experience has a kind of realness to it, which is invaluable to them. Although they can create countless realities by the power of their imagination, it gives them less satisfaction than the creation of one real reality on earth. On earth, the creation process is often a struggle. You typically meet a lot of resistance in making your dreams come true. The mental type of creation in the astral world is much easier. There's no time lag between the thought of something and the actual creation of it. Moreover, you can create any reality you want or can think. There are no limits. The moment you picture a lovely garden, it is there for you to enter. To give birth to an idea on earth, to make it a reality in the material world, is a great endeavor. It demands a strong intention, perseverance, clarity of mind, and a trusting heart. On earth, you have to deal with the slowness and stubbornness of the material world. You have to deal with contradictory impulses in yourself, with doubt, despair, lack of knowledge, loss of faith, etc. The creation process may be obstructed or even fail because of any of these elements. Yet these potential problems, even the failures, are the very reasons that make the experience of earthly life so valuable. In this process, the challenges you meet are your greatest teachers. They give earth experience a profundity that is so much deeper and broader than the effortless creation process on the astral planes. This effortlessness breeds meaninglessness. The astral entities which have not yet experienced lives on earth know and understand this. You often get discouraged and even desperate by the non-compliant nature of your reality. So often, reality does not answer your wishes and hopes. So often, your creative intentions seem to end up in pain and disillusion. However, you will find that key to peace and happiness at some point. You will find that key within your own heart. And when you do, that joy that will befall you will not be matched by anything created in the astral plane. It will be the birth of your mastership, your divinity. The ecstasy you will experience when your divinity awakens will provide you with the power to heal yourself. This divine love will help you recover from the deep hurts you have suffered throughout your lives on earth. After that, you will be able to help cure others who have been through the same trials and sorrows. You will recognize their pain, you will see it in their eyes, and you will be able to guide them on their path to divinity. The purpose of going through duality. Please do not underestimate the meaning of your lives on earth. You belong to the most creative, advanced, and courageous part of God, all that is. You are explorers of the unknown and creators of the new. Your explorations through the realm of duality have served a purpose far beyond your imagination. It is hard to explain to you the deepest meaning of your travels, but we can say that you have created a new type of consciousness, one that did not exist previously. This consciousness was first displayed by Christ when he walked the earth. This consciousness, which I call the Christ consciousness, results from a spiritual alchemy. Physical alchemy is an art of transforming lead into gold. Spiritual alchemy is the art of transforming dark energy into the third energy, the spiritual gold present in the Christ energy. Please note that we do not say that the purpose is to transform dark into light or evil into good. Dark and light, evil and good are natural opposites. They exist by the grace of one another. True spiritual alchemy introduces a third energy, a type of consciousness which embraces both polarities through the energies of love and understanding. The true purpose of your journey is not to have light conquer dark, but to go beyond these opposites and to create a new type of consciousness which can maintain unity in the presence of both light and dark. We will explain this rather difficult point by means of a metaphor. Imagine you are a deep-sea diver in search of a pearl. Time and again you dive into the ocean to find this particular pearl which everyone talks about but nobody has actually seen. Rumors go that even God, the chief diver, has never touched the pearl. Diving into the ocean is full of perils. Since you can get lost or go too deep and catch your breath in time, still you persist and you dive into this ocean time and again, for you are determined and inspired. Are you insane? No, you are explorers of the new. The secret is, in the process of finding the pearl, you are creating it. The pearl is the spiritual gold of the Christ consciousness. The pearl is you, transformed by the experience of duality. What we have here is a true paradox. In exploring the new, you are creating it. You have become the pearl of God's creation. God had no other way of doing it, for what you were attempting to find did not exist yet. It had to be created by you. Why was God so interested in creating something new? Let us state this in as simple a way as possible. First, God was entirely good. There was goodness everywhere and all around. In fact, because there was nothing else, things were kind of static. His creation lacked aliveness. It lacked the possibility of growth and expansion. You might say that it was stuck. To create change, to create an opportunity for movement and expansion, God had to introduce an element in his creation that was different from the goodness that pervaded everything. This was very hard for God, for how can you create something that is not you? How can goodness create badness? Well, it can't. So God had to come up with a trick, so to speak. This trick is called ignorance. Ignorance is the element that opposes goodness. It creates the illusion of being outside goodness, of being separated from God. Not knowing who you are is the incentive behind change, growth, and expansion in your universe. Ignorance breeds fear. Fear breeds a need to control. The need to control breeds a struggle for power. And there you have all the conditions for evil to flourish. The stage has been set for the battle between good and bad. God needed the dynamics of opposites to get his creation unstuck. It may be very hard for you to comprehend in view of all the suffering caused by ignorance and fear, but God put great value on these energies, since they provided him with a way to go beyond himself or herself. God asked you, the ones that belong to the most creative, advanced, and courageous part of herself, to take the veil of ignorance. In order to experience the dynamics of opposites as thoroughly as possible, you were temporarily soaked in forgetfulness about your true nature. You consented to take this plunge into ignorance, but this fact was overlaid by the veil of forgetfulness as well. So now you often curse God for being in the situation you're in, the hardships, the ignorance, and we understand. In essence, though, you are God. God is you. Despite of all the troubles and sorrows deep down within you, there is still a sense of wonder and excitement about living in duality, about experiencing and creating the new. This is God's original excitement, the reason God started with his journey through you in the first place. When you started out on your journey, you faced evil, fear, and ignorance with only a vague memory of the good or home in your mind. You started to battle fear and ignorance while longing for home. However, you will not return home in the sense of returning to a state in your past, for creation has changed because of your journey. The end of your journey will be that you have become larger than good and evil, light and dark. You will have created a third energy, the Christ energy, which embraces and transcends both. You will have expanded God's creation. You will be the new creation of God. God will have gone beyond him or herself when the Christ consciousness is fully born on earth. The Christ consciousness did not exist before the human experience. The Christ consciousness is the consciousness of one who has gone through the multi-layer experience of duality, has come to terms with it, and emerges on the other side. He will be the inhabitant of the new earth. This one will have let go of duality. She will have recognized and embraced her own divinity. He will have become one with his divine self. But his divine self will be different than before. It will be deeper and richer than the consciousness from which it was born. Or one could say, God will have enriched him or herself by having gone through the experience of duality. This story is simplified and distorted as anything we say is distorted by the illusions of time and separation. These illusions have served a valuable purpose. But the time has come to go beyond them. Please try to feel the energy behind our words, stories, and metaphors. This energy is, in a sense, your own. It is the energy of your future, Christed selves, that is speaking through me, Jeshua. We are waiting for you to join us. How to overcome duality, the completion of the karmic cycle. Your earthly cycle of lives ends when the game of duality no longer has a hold on you. It is essential to the dualistic game that you identify yourself with a particular position in the playfield of polarities. You identify yourself with being poor or rich, famous or humble, man or woman, hero or villain. It really doesn't matter that much which part you are playing. As long as you feel one with the actor on the stage, duality still has a firm grip on you. This is not wrong, of course. In a sense, it was meant to be that way. You were meant to forget about your true self. To experience all the aspects of duality, you are meant to narrow your conscience down to a particular role in the drama of earth life. And you played it well. You got so caught up with your role that you totally forgot about the aim and purpose of going through these cycles of lives to begin with. You were so forgetful about yourself that you took the games and dramas of duality to be the only reality there is. In the end, this made you very lonely and full of fear, which is not surprising since the very game of duality, as noted in the previous section, is based on the elements of ignorance and fear. To understand the working of duality in your everyday life, we would like to mention a few typical hallmarks of the duality game. Characteristics of the duality game. 1. Your emotional life is essentially unstable. There is no emotional anchor present, since you are always in the up or down side of a particular mood. You are angry or forgiving, narrow-minded or generous, depressed or enthusiastic, happy or sad. Your emotions perpetually fluctuate between extremes. You seem to have only limited control over these fluctuations. 2. You are intensely involved with the outer world. It is very important to you how other people judge you. Your self-esteem depends on what the outer world, society, or your loved ones mirror back to you about who you are. You are trying to live up to their standards of right and wrong. You are doing your very best. 3. You have strong opinions about what's good and what's bad. Being judgmental gives you a sense of security. Life is so well organized when one divides actions, thoughts, or people into right and wrong. Common to all these characteristics is that in all you do or feel, you are not really there. Your conscience resides in the outer layers of your being, where it is driven by fear-oriented patterns of thought and behavior. Let us give an example. If you're used to being nice and agreeable all the time, you are displaying a pattern of behavior that does not spring from your inner being. You are in fact suppressing signals from the inner part of you. You are trying to live up to someone else's expectation in order not to lose their love, admiration, or care. You are reacting from fear. You are limiting yourself in your expression. The part of you that is not expressed will, however, live a hidden life of its own, creating dissatisfaction and tiredness in your being. There may be anger and irritation present in you which no one is aware of, not even you. The way out of this state of self-denial is to make contact with the suppressed and hidden parts within you. Making contact with the suppressed and hidden parts within you is not difficult in the sense that it requires particular skills or knowledge to do so. Don't make going within a difficult process that others have to teach you or do for you. You can do it yourself, and you'll find your own ways of doing it. Motive and intent are far more important than skills and methods. If you really intend to know yourself, if you are determined to go deep within and to change the fearful thoughts and emotions that block your way to a happy and fulfilled life, you will do it through any method that comes along. Having said that, we'd like to offer one simple meditation which may help you get in touch with your emotions. Take a moment to relax the muscles in your shoulder and neck. Sit straight up and put your feet flat on the floor. Take a deep breath. Picture yourself walking on a country road under a wide open blue sky. You take in the sounds of nature and you feel the wind through your hair. You are free and happy. Further down the road, you suddenly see some children running toward you. They are getting closer to you. How does your heart respond to this sight? Then the children are in front of you. How many are there? How do they look? Are they boys, girls, or both? You say hello to all of them. Tell them how happy you are to see them. Then you make contact with one child in particular who is looking you in the eyes. She or he has a message for you. It is written in the child's eyes. Can you read it? What does it want to tell you? It is bringing you an energy that you need right now. Name the energy that this inner child has come to bring you, and don't judge it. Simply thank her or him and then release the image. Feel the earth firmly under your feet again and breathe deeply for a while. You have just contacted a hidden part of yourself. You can go back to the scene anytime you want and perhaps talk to the other children there as well. By going within and making contact with the hidden, suppressed parts of yourself, you are becoming more present. Your consciousness is rising above the fear-motivated patterns of thought and behavior that you have taken for granted for such a long time. It is taking responsibility for itself. It takes care of the sorrow, anger, and hurt inside, like a parent takes care of its children. We will describe this process in much more detail elsewhere, in Lightworker 3. Characteristics of releasing duality. 1. You listen to the language of your soul, which speaks to you through your feelings. 2. You act upon this language and create the changes your soul wishes you to make. 3. You value quiet time alone, for only in silence can you hear the whisper of your soul. 4. You question the authority of thought patterns or rules of behavior which block the free expression of your true inspiration and aspiration. The turning point in letting go of duality. Your earthly cycle of lives draws to a close when your consciousness is able to hold all the experience of duality in its hand, while remaining centered and fully present. As long as you identify with one aspect of duality rather than another, with light as opposed to dark, with rich as opposed to poor, etc., your consciousness is on a swing. Karma is nothing but the natural harmonizer for the swings in which your consciousness emerges. You release your ties to the karmic cycle when your consciousness finds its anchor point in the motionless center of the seesaw. This center is the exit point for the karmic cycle. The predominant feeling tones in this center are stillness, compassion, and quiet joy. Greek philosophers had premonitions of the state which they called ataraxia, imperturbability. Judgment and fear are the energies that most take you off center. As you release these energies more and more, you become more quiet and open inside. You truly enter another world, another plane of consciousness. This will be manifested in your outer world. It will often be a time of changes and saying goodbye to aspects in your life that do not reflect you anymore. Great upheavals may occur in the area of relationships and work. More often than not, your whole lifestyle turns topsy-turvy. This is only natural from our perspective, since inner changes are always the forerunner of changes in your outer world. Your consciousness creates the material reality you dwell in. It is always that way. Releasing the grip of duality takes time. Unraveling all the layers of darkness on consciousness is a gradual process. Yet once you embark upon this road, the road to the inner self, you are slowly distancing yourself from the game of duality. When you have tasted the true meaning of ataraxia, the turning point is taken. When you have felt the silent yet all-providing joy of being with yourself, you will know that this is what you've been looking for all along. You will go inward time and again to experience this peace inside. You will not shy away from worldly enjoyment, but you will have found an anchor of divinity within yourself, and you will experience the world and all its beauty from that state of bliss. Bliss never resided in material things to begin with. It resides in the way you experience them. When there is peace and joy in your heart, the things and people you meet will give you peace and joy. In this day and age, a certain group of souls is preparing itself to step off the karmic cycle. We will speak in depth about this group in the next chapters. However, it is not just a group of human souls that is now reaching the end of a transformative personal cycle. The very earth on which you live is undergoing a deep and thoroughgoing transformation. A planetary cycle is coming to an end as well. This era is so special because of these two cycles coinciding. We will now speak about the planetary cycle.